Sure, very happy to. Thank you, Mabel, and thank you also to my fellow panelists for all of your insights on digital innovation. I'd like to focus my comments on the UK's fintech sector, and outline some of the ways the UK has nurtured innovation in the digital economy, and in doing so, have generated one of our biggest success stories of the last decade. The UK's fintech sector has grown rapidly over the last 10 years to become the #2 globally behind the US as of 2021. In doing so, fintech has become the UK's largest startup sector, building directly upon our existing strengths in financial services. The UK now has 1,400 high-growth fintech companies in operation. Included in this number are 20 fintech unicorns, which equates to 50% of the UK's billion-dollar startups. To put a value on all of this, collectively, UK fintech companies have raised £22 billion in equity funding, with a staggering £7.4 billion of that secured in 2021 alone. Companies such as Revolut, Wise, Monzo, and Checkout.com have all launched in the last 10 years and joined the ranks of the more traditional players in taking on the next generation of financial services challenges and opportunities. There are numerous factors behind the explosive growth of fintech in the UK, which I will talk through briefly before sharing some thoughts on areas where we see potential for more activity, between the UK and China. A key factor behind this growth is the supportive policy environment for both fintech innovation and startup companies looking to enter and disrupt the sector. A good example of this is the UK FCA's regulatory sandbox, which allows firms to test innovative new products in the market with real consumers. Companies are able to submit applications for sandbox tests at any time of the year, and through doing so, receive the ability to test products and services with consumers in a controlled environment. The opportunity to find out whether a business model is attractive to consumers or how a particular technology works in the market. A reduced time to market at potentially lower cost, and support in identifying consumer protection safeguards that can be built into new products and services. Another key factor behind the growth of fintech in the UK is access to capital. I mentioned earlier that UK companies raised over £7.4 billion in 2021. This figure has already been surpassed in the first 6 months of 2022, with £7.6 billion raised so far, going against the global trend of slowing investment. While global growth in fintech investment has remained flat, the UK reported 24% year-on-year increase during the period, receiving more investment than the rest of Europe combined, in fintech, of course. This capital is international in origin, but also has a high degree of familiarity with the financial services sector. So to conclude, there are 3 key takeaways we can all learn from the example of UK fintech. Firstly, building upon your existing strengths, in this case, centuries of providing and innovating financial services to customers in the UK and around the world. Secondly, nurture a supportive policy environment that gives companies the flexibility to experiment. And lastly, access to capital, lots of it, and ideally money that already has a strong familiarity with the core industry in question. Thank you.